Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan M.S. Pierce. This is a US political kind of update, but I think it pertains to Ukraine, it pertains to foreign policy, it pertains to anything that involves the President of the United States and decision making. This is, I think, as important a video I've done for a long time. And yet I'm going to talk about just a few things that Donald Trump has said, but actually some things he's done, which give us a window into his decision-making that is insanely worrying. Like, if this doesn't worry you, no matter which side of the political spectrum you sit in the United States, then I don't know what will. I honestly, like, the data here should really perturb you. And if it doesn't, maybe have a long, hard look at yourself. Right, these are the claims we hear from Donald Trump.
We're going to look at that. It was amazing. Portland is burning to the ground. It's insurrectionists all over the place. It's Antifa. And yet the politicians who are petrified. Look, the politicians are afraid for their lives. That's the only reason that they say, like, there's nothing happening. And you've seen it. The place is burning down, and they pretend like there's nothing happening. So we'll take a look at the order. We haven't seen the order yet.
Portland is burning to the ground. Insurrectionists are all over the place. Antifa are there, etc., etc. Take a look. He says, you know, you've seen it. Take a look for yourself. You've seen it. I don't know if this is just gaslighting or if he is just so insanely ignorant of what's actually going on. And I think it's actually the latter rather than a genuine attempt to gaslight the reporter there. Gaslighting meaning that I'm going to tell you something that you know is not true, but I'm going to tell you so convincingly and over to the point where you start doubting your own sanity and you think it is actually true. I don't think he's trying to do that. I genuinely think that Donald Trump believes Portland is burning to the ground. Here is another excerpt of him speaking in front of the military leaders the other day.
They need the military desperately. How about Portland? Portland, Oregon, where it looks like a war zone. And I get a call from the liberal governor. Sir, please don't come in. We don't need you. I said, well, unless they're playing false tapes, this looked like World War II.
Unless they are playing false tapes, this looks like World War II. Honestly, just take on board everything he's saying. And also, here he's speaking to the military, talking about how the military are going to go to cities like this to restore law and order because they're burning to the ground.
Your place is burning down. I mean, you must be kidding. Sir, we have it under control. I said, you don't have it under control, Governor, but I'll check it, and I'll call you back. I called her back. I said, this place is a nightmare. It's certainly not the biggest, but it's one of the worst. It's brutal. They need the military.
It's a nightmare. Did he say brutal at the end? It's not the biggest, but it's one of the worst. He's talking about Portland. I mean, this has got to the point where even, you know, liberal comedians like Seth Meyers is trying to point out how ridiculous this is. This is outright ridiculous.
American cities over the objections of local officials because of stuff he sees on TV.
President Trump attempts to send U.S. troops into Portland and Chicago against the objections of the governors of those states.
Oregon's governor says troops aren't needed. The Illinois governor said in a statement, quote, "We must now start calling this what it is, Trump's invasion."
Portland is burning to the ground. It's insurrectionists all over the place. It's Antifa. Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. All you have to do is look at the television, turn on your television, read your newspaper. It's burning to the ground.
What television are you watching?
And then he goes on to do his routine there, continue doing his routine. But this is actually deeply, deeply concerning, right? Deeply concerning. It gets worse here. So just listen to this excerpt from MSNBC.
Remains the judge. had an opportunity to hear all of the facts from both sides. And the best that the federal government could do was present facts from the president's own truth social media. So that's the type of facts that the federal government is working with.
So when when judges are trying to make a decision whether it is right to send troops to Portland, Oregon, they're saying, right, provide us all the information in order to work out whether this decision is justified or not. And all that the Trump administration can do was to provide Truth Social posts from Trump to the judge to justify sending troops.
We're using real facts in a courtroom, and that's why the judge sided with us. The president just doesn't get off of a helicopter, walk out of the White House, and just make things up. If you're going to do that, you don't get to deploy the military using those types of fake facts. You actually have to have real facts if you want to put the military on the streets of our cities.
This is incredibly important. Now, here is Portland, Oregon, from someone that's trying to get you to understand the geography of Portland as much as you can from a single place. So looking around Portland. Now, the question is it burning to the ground?
I'm on a rooftop in Portland, Oregon, and I just want everyone to know that it is neither dark nor on fire. We are having a party, and we do not need California's National Guard here. At all. Thank you so much, though. Thank you. We're fine here in Portland. Trump, go fuck yourself. Okay, bye.
We're having a party here, just overlooking Portland. It's not on fire. We're fine. We don't need National Guard from outside of the state. This is the ICE detention center, I think, where they are protesting, right? Is this a place full of insurrectionists? Is this what you saw at January the 6th, for example? Does this require the National Guard from outside of the state of Oregon to come and save Oregon from burning to the ground? Okay, I'll have to turn the sound off there because I will get a copyright infringement. But you get the point that this is not Portland burning to the ground. You've got a bunch of liberal people at night congregating and saying, we don't like what's going on here, which is, you know, your freedom of speech, your right to protest. We're now hearing that the Pentagon is considering sending elite military units that invaded Iraq and Afghanistan into US cities, the 82nd Airborne Division. Now, I believe there's a little bit of kickback going on here and people aren't happy with this. But as Miles Taylor, who used to work in the Trump administration, first one, said, wake up, people. This is not about petty theft and street crime. But my point is somewhat, I think, larger than this. Like, first of all, Donald Trump appears to be watching, as far as I can work out, footage from 2020 concerning the Black Lives Matter protests, whereby there were some significant protests and they were taking place in Portland, Oregon, amongst many other places around the United States. He is apparently saying, you know, look at the newspapers, watch TV. Okay, I'm doing that. There is no evidence of this taking place. So what are you looking at? Are you looking at Fox, and is Fox replaying old scenes from Portland 2020, and you are sending troops to Portland on account of that? Like, what are you looking at? The Rodney King riots from the 1990s and sending police now on account of that? I mean, this is insane, right? This is absolutely insane. Now, this then presents us with a whole host of other questions, which is, what are his aides doing around him? Is this then what they want? The aides around him know that surely everyone knows that Portland, Oregon is not burning to the ground, covered, infested with insurrectionists, right? So that's not happening. So let's assume that Trump has genuinely made a mistake, right? And he's looking at things what are that are not Portland, Oregon from 2025. What are his aides doing? What are his advisors doing? Why are they not correcting him? So even if Trump is making a genuine mistake here, that cannot be the explanation for everyone else. Therefore, this is intentional. Therefore, this is to foment a pushback from people in Portland who they want to get violence so that it justifies them sending the troops there, and it justifies further action, which then escalates to martial law, and then you don't have elections or something like that. Because I'm struggling to understand why his aides would be on board with him sending troops there in response to something that doesn't exist. That is really worrying. Now, another question that comes out of this is, okay, if this has happened in the situation of Portland, Oregon, how often is Trump completely ignorant of what's actually going on in any given place and making massive decisions on the back of that align with the ideology of the people around him rather than with reality? And I'm going to take you to Ukraine now. His decisions about Ukraine have been absolutely incorrect, in my opinion. And they've only just started changing because he was presented with actual evidence that accords with reality. And he admitted this himself. And we heard from Zelensky that Zelensky said, I was seeing maps from Russia that had no basis in reality. That's what Trump was looking at. He was basically taking in claims from Russia, using that as his core evidence and making decisions about Ukraine on the basis of propaganda from Russia, rather than actual facts on the ground, rather than going to his own Pentagon intelligence, I'm assuming, and getting a proper appraisal of what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. So that Trump then said, oh yeah, when I found out that how badly the Russian economy was doing, when blah, 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 he then said on Truth Social, I think Ukraine can win this. He'd never said anything like that before. Why had he not said anything like that before? Because he didn't have a firm grasp of reality. He was making decisions on the basis of a complete misunderstanding of the reality on the ground in Ukraine. We are seeing this time and time again. Donald Trump does not have a clue what is going on in the United States or outside the United States. He's being fed disinformation by people around him so that they can manipulate him to do things aligned to their own ideological agenda, i.e. Project 2025 and Heritage Foundation. Stephen Miller and, Russ Vought and whoever else are just feeding him stuff to manipulate him to do what they want him to do, so that you can have this march towards autocracy, a jackbooted march towards autocracy. This example of what's going on in Portland, Oregon, or what's not going on in Portland, Oregon, and what he claims is actually going on, is insanely indicative, reflective of the Trump administration. And it is incredibly worrying. This should concern the hell out of you. He is literally claiming that a city is burning to the ground. He's not just said that once as a kind of metaphorical, rhetorical flourish. He is making the claim that Portland is burning to the ground, that it is rife with insurrectionists, that Antifa are there doing X, Y, and Z. And he is sending in the military to fix a problem that doesn't exist. What the absolute hell is going on in the White House? Who is controlling things? And what are they really up to? Because sure as heck this man isn't in control. He's the jockey. He's a rider sitting on top of a horse. And when the horse moves, he goes, oh yeah, I did that. I pulled the rein there, as a post hoc rationalization. He's the jockey that's getting directed by the horse. Who is the horse? Stephen Miller. Heritage Foundation. All those aides and people around him. They've got another agenda. And their agenda, as deeply troubling. This guy, he hasn't got a Scooby-Doo. He's not got a clue what is going on. And he's telling you over and over in public to reporters that he doesn't know what is going on. If I was a Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and I said, do you know what? London is on fire at the moment. It is burning to the ground. Send in the military. It is burning to the ground. I'd be rightfully taken to the cleaners. Why is this not happening in the United States? Why is no one challenging him? And this is what happens when you control the media, when you control the reporters who are around you, when you don't let people ask you difficult questions. He sits in this bubble, this informational bubble, whereby he's not challenged. And as soon as he's asked a difficult question, he asks, well, what news site are you from? Oh, you are the fake news. I'm not answering your question. He's inoculating himself from reality. He's living in a parallel dimension. And no one around him is stopping that. No one around him is correcting him. The Republicans in Congress are weak. They're weak sauce. Absolutely pathetic. This is so dangerous. More than anything, it's dangerous. It's dangerous domestically and it's dangerous internationally.